Kabel presents Short Circuit Se Suraksha, powered by News 18 Networks.
Electrical fires are a serious and often preventable hazard that can cause significant loss of property as well as lead to loss of life. Today, technology is playing a pivotal role in improving the fire safety situation and in preventing electrical fires. Innovative solutions like smart smoke detectors, fire suppression systems, electrical current monitoring systems, and fire-resistant materials are all playing a role in reducing the risk of electrical fires and protecting property as well as precious lives. Hello and welcome to the curtain raiser episode of Short Circuit Se Suraksha, this special conversation. I'm your host Mridu Bhandari. On this episode, we'll talk about all the latest innovations and advancements in fire detection and suppression, and we'll also talk about strategies for preventing electrical fires. So let's welcome the panel today. Shreegopal Kabra, MD and Group President, RR Global; Atul Garg, Director, Delhi Fire Service; and SS Warick, Director, Maharashtra Fire Services and Chief Fire Officer, MIDC Fire Services. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us here today on this special conversation. Now, around 70% of fire accidents are caused by electrical short circuits in both commercial as well as residential properties. The second highest reason is domestic gas cylinder leakages, which is actually at just about 2%. So let me start with you, Mr. Garg. Clearly, the devil out here is electrical short circuit. Give us a sense of what are some of the primary and most common causes of short circuits.
Yes, you are very true that we have a more than 70% fire due to the electrical short circuit, and there are various reasons for electric short circuit or for the electric fault. One of the reason is overload of circuit, faulty wiring, electrical equipment malfunctioning, improper use of equipment, lighting. So many systems, so many defects are there. And see, all fire, electrical fire, is small in the beginning, but there is a delay. If there is a combustible material, it's grow outward, and then it is very difficult to manage it. But yes, there all I think this condition is all over India. That's the more than 70% fire are electrical fire. That's very true.
Right. And I'm going to ask Mr. Kabra here to chime in as well. Mr. Kabra, you're in the business of cables. Give us a sense of the role that electrical cables play in short circuits, and how can high quality and safe cables really reduce these short circuit accidents?
See, all electrical short circuits out of this fire, 80% is because of either wire and cable or switchgear. If you use the good quality wire, the chances of fire are still less. But there is another thing is that fire is smoke. So always we talk about the fire, but we need to discover the smoke. People die because of smoke more than fire. So there are products are available, especially in wire and cable, which is called low smoke, zero hazard, not FRLS wire. I would like to request both the friends from fire department. They feel that FRLS is something good wire, but FRS wire is nowhere available in this world. Only it is in India creation. It's a modified PVC. Let's say in PVC smoke is 100, in FRS is 70%. So worldwide, in any commercial building, high-rise building, even new national building code also, they are recommending low smoke, zero hazard. So fire can be controlled. It's a question mark, yes, but with so many conditions, still not 100% proof. But can you control the smoke? There are in wire also available, and government should make it at least inside of the building or any house or any office. They should not allow any product of PVC, because the PVC creates the smoke. It's a toxic, corrosive, and people cannot see, the visibility is zero, and people cannot breathe. So major problem is after fire. How to save the life of the people? Even it's become difficult for fire people or department people also to see the where from fire is, to escape the people, how to get out people from outside. Because of dark smoke, you cannot see anything. So this is the reason, of course, short circuit is one thing, but after fire, how can you save the life of the people and the wealth and the property is only possible if they don't use anything of PVC.
Mr. Warick, just to come to you as well, in the event of an electrical fire, what are some of the best practices for evacuating a building and minimizing the risk of injuries as well as fatalities?
So evacuation drill is a mandatory thing as per the National Building Code, and every fire act of the state government advocates it. So planning at the initial stage, what are the potential risk of the building, and in case of emergency, how the occupants are going to respond it. That is more important. And as Mr. Kabra narrated, the issue is the smoke. Smoke is very dangerous in case of any fire, and majority 90% of the fatalities occur due to the smoke. Issue is the planning stage itself. Right from the beginning, we in the building we go for the minimum things. So as a developer or the builder, they provide the minimum requirement for the electricity as a basic infrastructure. And when somebody occupies it, he wanted to exploit it as a whole. Take simple example of 2 BHK flat. When it is means plan only in the air conditioning is plan only in the 2 bedrooms. But as soon as the occupancy is given, the occupier puts the air conditioning in the halls. Then there are many gadgets coming up in the kitchen and other areas. So entire the potential load, electrical load of the particular flat increases, and it becomes very difficult to handle it in case of emergency. After 2-3 years, it gives away and short circuit and overloading happens, and it leads to fire. So planning of fire in advance is required, and proper training should be given to each and every occupant. So every family, if they keep at least one fire extinguisher in their flat, when they go for any dining, they spend almost 3-4 thousand rupees. So at least they should buy some one small extinguisher. And already narrated by Mr. Garg, in the initial stage, if we can use that fire extinguisher and quench that fire, that is a great help, and we can avoid the spreading of fire, and that will prevent the precious human life and property. So planning is more important in case of fire. What will be the signages, how they should come out, what are the staircases available, and if the smoke is more, they should close down the doors and use the fire tower or the fire doors covered with the staircases and try to reach at the ground level. So that should be planned in advance. The training should be given to the all occupants so that we will overcome such kind of a scenario.
Mr. Garg, coming to you, like Mr. Kabra and Mr. Warick just said, it's a well-known fact that in any kind of a fire incident, the number of fatalities are actually much higher due to smoke. So would you like to chime in as well? How can these fatalities be reduced, and some best practices for both occupants as well as builders?
Example that the Arpit Hotel fire that occurred in Delhi and 17 people died. All people died due to the smoke. No, not a single person died with the smoke. And then fire started with the malfunction of air conditioning, and the same thing that Chabra was telling, that the wire was a PVC wire and the whole hotel was filled with the smoke. So that's very true. The smoke is more dangerous than the fire, number one. Number two, the best practice is only the planning and training. We have to plan in advance, and we have to train the people in case of fire how to get out, how to escape, how to save your life. There are only two keywords, no other best practices unless we do planning in advance. Like Mr. Agmore told that we have a house, then we, as our income increases, we keep on adding the equipment. See, one AC, two AC, fridge, dishwasher, two TV for children, TV for us, then so many other things. And thus we are increasing the load. And the wiring was done at least 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and nobody is putting attention to the wiring, whether they can take this much load or not. So that is the main source of fire, a main cause of fire. So two things is very, very important: planning and training. Nothing else can work. We can make a lot of rules, lot of code, but nothing will work. Now we are making a new IS. Already it is affirmed, and then where we are making that cable, this PVC cable will be out, completely out for a fire protection system, and we'll have a zoning system so that the fire at initial stage can be detected, and the right step can be taken. That is already ISI has already affirmed, and very soon it is going to be public. So my advice to all is that only two things: planning and training. Nothing else can work.
Right, planning and training. Mr. Kabra, a typical 2 BHK house is actually wrapped with about 2,000 meters of electric cables. Now, this means that we are surrounded by wires, and since they're often obviously concealed, we don't really realize, the risk and the impact that they can have on our lives. How can the use of fire-resistant materials in construction and interior design really help prevent electrical fires?
PVC wire should be banned. The fire survival cable which BIS has done mistake, they have done aluminum fire survival cable. And when I went to BIS and we have found that when fire takes place, the ambient temperature is 850 to 900 degree, and aluminum on 650 degree, aluminum melt. So again they have changed. Still in so many tower, I am telling you, all big corporate builders tower, the cable is fire survival cable of aluminum. So these are the biggest challenges. Government should come and the fire department can play a bigger role, because people understand that what knowledge you have, no one is having. So I request that all over India, let fire department come, let's go together to BIS and explain to BIS that is only possible that you have to ban totally this PVC wire, FRS wire. Fire department, BIS, Home Ministry, PWD, CPWD, Housing Minister, we all need to come together and fight. This is like a after road accident, highest death in India is in fire. In all over the world, there is the highest death of fire in terms of calculating the fire population. It's the highest in the world. So this is a big challenge. These subjects need to be taken care by all the media and the government. Then only the things will come.
Right, absolutely. Collaboration definitely key being there in solving all of these problems. On that note, we are going to head into a short break right now. On the other side, we'll talk about building safety measures and building audits. Stay with us on Short Circuit Se Suraksha.
RR Kabel presents Short Circuit Se Suraksha, powered by News 18 Networks. RR Kabel presents Short Circuit Se Suraksha, powered by News 18 Networks.
Welcome back to Short Circuit Se Suraksha, a special conversation on this curtain raiser where we are talking about electrical fires, most of which are actually quite preventable. Mr. Warick, talking about preventive measures, can you tell us what kind of fire safety measures should be in place in a building to ensure the safety of occupants? Also, how can innovative solutions like electrical current monitoring systems aid in preempting and avoiding these short circuits?
So the National Building Code 2016 is a guiding document for various types of discipline, including fire safety. National Building Code Part 4 speaks about it. It is a fire prevention side, fire protection side, and life safety. These are the three major guidelines given in the National Building Code Part 4, and which provides the table 7 of the Part 4 gives minimum fire protection requirement for different types of buildings, depending upon their potential risk, right from fire extinguishers to the hose reloads, the hydrants, risers, sprinkler system, detection systems, manual call points. So these are the active fire protection systems. There is a requirement for the passive fire protection also. The fire tower, as I told, one fire escape staircase and the fire lift. They are comprising of the pressurized well, which is the safe evacuation means access available to the occupants also, and for the firefighters also to reach on the upper floor in minimum time. So these are the provisions given in National Building Code as far as fire safety is concerned. For the electrical safety, there is a Part 8 of National Building Code, Section 2, which gives guidelines for the electrical safeties, different type, right from the transformer to the distribution boards up to the wiring, and everything is comprising over there, and guidelines are available, made available in the Section 2 of the Part 8. And major issue is the 11 kV and below. As per the Indian Electricity Act, the provisions are not there to approve the plan and to execute it. So issue is that nobody is there to govern that particular thing right from the planning stage. So planning at the initial stage of the building, then the actual execution and the testing and handing over. So these are the very important parameters in any life cycle of the building, and to overcome that there should be a licensed engineer made available in every state to look after that, and they should certify, take the responsibility of that. Then only we can make the safe envelope or safe building for the any occupancy.
Okay, so let me also then bring in Mr. Kabra. Now, installing state-of-the-art safety equipment is one part of the story. What about routine inspection of all our electrical circuits and meters? How often should this be done and why? And how often is this really done?
in Singapore, there is a rule. In every 10 years, they change the wiring of common wiring. The common cable, they are changing every 10 years. I also suggest that only we should not make responsible the contractor. We should also responsible to MEP consultant. See, consultant, what happens, they design. They should be also have responsible, even if manufacturer is not supplying product as per the standard, he should be also responsible. Contractor is responsible, but in REA, what they giving 5 years guarantee for a building, my suggestion is not only for electrical, firefighting system and plumbing. They should make a law of 10 years. And the cost is not, it's a concern of, we have a mental issue in India. In total, if all three, if electrical, plumbing and firefighting, if they use all good quality product with good contractor, with good consultant, it will take 40 rupees square feet more extra. That's all. In all three will cover in this. But just because it's an invisible product, we are not taking care of this. The biggest problem is like place like Bombay, because I'm based in Bombay. There's so many high-rise buildings are coming. In high-rise building, we all know that how much our fire brigade got the facility for the high-rise building. They don't have. I know that what kind of wire people use in 50 floor or 45 floor or 60 floor. There will be huge smoke in the building. So these are the big challenge. This National Building Code, which on 6th January, the new code has come. Now it is going for CA. Is going for translation now. Now it will go to BIS. So it's a very long journey. So we should make a strict law. Whether we all should go together to Supreme Court and make a law for this, or better the government department do this. Sir, also I request that you give fire department OC for parking system also. When you show the building, they show the way that the fire tender will move from here and there. Once OC comes, people park are there. So that is also big challenge, that how we are going to save the people. So this ground also need to be very clear. It is meant for the fire tender. It has to be fire tender. They are not supposed to do any parking there, either for the guests or for any emergency. So these are two things are very clear. I think so. Only department can make a strict law, and they need to follow. And fire department can help us. You should have a good electrical team also in department. I came to know in few of the fire department, they don't have also electrical engineer. That is also big challenge. So you should have a maximum team. Whether you should increase the charges for the building, fire department, you charge your more money from the developer. You have your own team, capable team to check the system, check the electrical product. You can send some samples to laboratory to check whether products are right or not. You should check the license of the electrical contractor, how he's capable, whether he's a senior electrical contractor or not. So these are the things we need to, and then even like we call like green building. So green building, they talk only about the green building, but green building, if it is not safe, then how can be a platinum rating green building? So now we have meeting next week. So we are talking about green building should be along with the safety. So safety should be kept top priority.
Let me come to Mr. Garg then. Now, currently there is no provision for electrical audits in the Development Control and Promotion Regulation or the DCPR. How can we go about formulating a vigilant policy to ensure that residential as well as commercial properties across the country submit an electrical audit report regularly?
We are aware of this problem, and we have recently brought the regulation in the building bylaws of Delhi that all meters, electric meters, should be outside. See, all building, because meter is inside and a lot of material have been stacked around the meter, and this causes fire. Now we are bringing a law in Delhi, at least, that every year all building owner, commercial except residents, commercial building owner, this warehouse, they will submit a electric audit report every month to every year to fire department to get the renew this case. So we are aware of that. We are bringing the law. See, Mr. Warick has also told, Mr. our global owner of Aerogol has told, these are the problem, we know it. But what is the solution? For in my opinion, the solution is, again, I am saying planning, training and awareness. Nobody will like to that their house to go in smoke. So we have to give lot of training, lot of awareness. We have to aware the people. This is a hazard you are taking with you. When you have a house, you have a furnishing, you have everything. So you are taking some amount of risk also. So we have to train them. We have to aware them, and then we must bring the law. But law only will not suffice. because there is already a lot of laws there, but nobody is following the law. There is a traffic law, nobody is following it. There is a fire law, nobody is following it. So first of all, we have to train the people, number one.
Right.
Number two, we have to make aware of also what is the hazard, what hazard you are carrying yourself, what hazard you are having in your house. Then only I think people will aware about it and they will follow the law.
So as we wrap up, I'm going to ask each of you to share some thoughts on, how we can ensure electrical safety, like cooking gas companies have done for fire safety. What are some of the stumbling blocks and what needs to be done to overcome them? Maybe I can start with Mr. Warick.
So, as per the Indian Electricity Act, there is a provision of chartered electrical auditors, and every state has to carry out the examination and approve such type of engineers for carrying out the safety audits or electrical audits for different types of building. So, if it is put in the place, if you have the hundreds of such type of auditors, then definitely periodically they can carry out the inspection, and we can make the building more safe. That is my recommendation, and already it is under implementation as far as the state of Maharashtra is concerned.
Mr. Kabra, what's your thought?
Chartered electric auditor we need, but we don't have in India. That's a big challenge. So we need to find some other solution till we have a sizable quantity of chartered electrical auditor. This is my suggestion, that how can we make many more chartered electrical engineers. We have only very few chartered electrical engineers. Like say Bombay, they made a rule. Every 22 floor and above, you should have a fire officer. So do we have that much fire officer? So these are the big challenges. We need a lot of people for fire safety and chartered electrical engineers. But ultimately, government has to come with the developer. We need to talk with the consumer. We need to talk with the media support. We need support from PWD and CPW. If they improve, it will. I can tell you that if PWD and CPW in their own projects, they improve quality standard, it will fall in the private sector very fast.
And Mr. Garg, final word from you.
We have no trained manpower. We do not have a what would you call it, fire officer, electrical engineer, trained auditor. Yes, we require many people. If we start carrying out, that was the question my chief secretary asked me, Atul, you are bringing this law that every building has to be electric audited every year. Who will do it? Are you aware that there is no electric audit available, maybe 100 or 200, 300, and Delhi has a more than 3 lakhs building? So who is going to audit it? You are bringing a law, but where is the mantrained powers? Again, there will be, untrained people, they will do hanky and panky, nothing will be done. So he is very right, Mr. Chaya is very right, that we need a very trained manpower, awareness, training. We all have to collate together. Unless we all have to work together, nothing will improve.
Right, absolutely. That's well said. We all indeed have to work together. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here on this special conversation. Those were some very useful insights into preventing electrical fires and all that's happening in the technology and innovation space that can really help in this regard. With that, it's a wrap of this special conversation. Thank you for joining us today. Goodbye.
RR Kabel presents Short Circuit Se Suraksha, powered by News 18 Networks.